All right, so I've been considering taking this class for a while now, and I've heard testimonies in the past of the fellows that took it beforehand, and I guess the one that really stuck out to me the most was the last class with Monty Woods. Said something about his dad being a good dad, having a good dad, and that he was a good dad, but he still failed. And that was an eye-opener to myself. So when I was able to take his class, I didn't know really what to expect, but when we got in here, I realized that I was in the same boat as he was, that I had failed myself. And we were using words of legacy and responsibility and love, and I knew some of that was missing in my life. And the big one was the legacy part. Was you just don't hear that much anymore. And I know for myself, that's something I was thriving for, I guess, so to speak. And through this class, it's taught us God had this foundation built for beginning of time there, that it was a formula, so to speak, that you had to have all this combined to leave this legacy. And I look back on it, and my dad didn't teach me everything that was in that, and I didn't pass it along to my son. So as we began to take this class, I started realizing one of the biggest things was the love part of it. And for myself, I had to implement that. And it was tough. It was really tough because it was awkward for me. And as it progressed, it was starting to get a little bit better. And I started thinking about what had happened. And for myself, I could only think of one thing that was a main contributor. Part of it was as growing up, I told myself some of the things that my dad had taught me, I wasn't going to make my own kids do that. And it made me start thinking, okay, did he do that? And did his dad do that? And over time, I guess generation after generation, we got away from God's plan of that. Not even knowing it, but we did. So I'm very, very grateful for this class. I'm still a work in progress, but things are getting like they need to be. I'm a long ways from there, but they are getting better. I've gained some men that are accountability partners, and they're going to hold me to this. And you just can't put a price on that. You know, the guys that are in that class, we were real. We shared some stuff that, you know, I thought I was the only one going through that, but it was real. So I just want to thank everybody that was in the class. I want to especially thank Blake and Chris for having that passion and following God's lead on that part to present this class. And I encourage you, men out there, it's one of the best decisions I made, and I know it will be for you too. So, and I want to thank Chief Cornerstone for allowing this to happen. You know, it was just a very helpful, very sincere class, and I just encourage anybody to take that.
So the Courageous Men's Bible Study that we went through, what did I get out of that class? I'm a person that thinks people are watching you, and your actions speak louder than what you say. I think one of the things that I took away from this class was that I needed to be more vocal and communicate more with my wife and with my family. I guess I just think people magically know what I mean by my actions and how I behave. But being a leader and being the man of the household, this class has taught me that I need to vocalize those things, and I need to share with my kids more about Jesus, not just being that role model and being at church and doing the things, the actions that are required, but explicitly sitting down with them and talking about it, who Jesus is to me, testifying to them about what he's done in my life and sharing my testimony with them. Communicating better with my wife about how much I love her and how much I appreciate her, instead of just doing it through my actions and my work. she needs to hear those things, and just let her know that she's adored by me. I think that was probably the biggest takeaway that I had from the class, and I would recommend it to any Christian man, young or old, whether you're just starting out and you're on the milk, or whether you've been, like Brother Davis talked about, you're continually being sanctified. I think it's important for all men to continually grow and get stronger in Christ, and it's just a good experience, I think, for anybody that's looking to grow and get closer with Christ. I want to thank Chris and Blake for the hours that they put in studying and preparing and just coming and sharing and pouring out their heart whenever they shared with us their testimonies, and it got real in some of those sessions. And I think the camaraderie and the togetherness that we bonded with as brothers, I think, is important, and I'm happy that we're going to continue to do that as we have sessions moving forward with others that have taken the class. So if you haven't been in there and you're thinking about taking the class, I'd say pray about it. But it's an undertaking. There's reading that you need to be doing and participating with the conversation. So don't take it lightly. It's a good experience and you won't regret it.
What did I get out of this class? I got that I thought I was a good husband and a father, but this class showed me that I needed a lot of improvement in that area. The one thing I wish that I could take this class whenever my children were smaller, because I think it would have changed a whole lot of how they grew up as older children right now and adults. That whenever if they were younger, then I could have applied different things into them as they were growing up. That I feel like that could have been different. And I would like to thank the church and Chris and Blake for this class and how much it improved my life as a husband and a father.
Well, I was saved on August 9th, 1969. I just turned 8 years old. I was in church I've been in church my entire life. I started teaching Sunday school in 1986. Been teaching ever since. I was ordained as a deacon in 1995, and like I say, I've been in church all my life. I come from a family of church leaders. My granddad was a deacon, my daddy was a deacon, and when the church doors were open, we were there. And when this class first came about and started hearing about it and what it was about and all, and I'm like maybe some others maybe that might be in the church that thought, I don't really need that. I've already grown through that. I'm well into the sanctification process, and but the more I thought about it, the more, of course, I'd seen the Courageous movie in the past, and I'd seen the testimony before of this class, and then Blake talked to me about it some, and I decided it'd be something to take and something that'd be worthwhile, and it was more than I really even imagined. In my working life, I always had a saying was, continual improvement, and I think that as Christians, whenever we accept Jesus Christ as our personal Savior, we become a part of His heavenly kingdom in that very moment. And from that point on, it's all about continual improvement. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I won't be. None of us will be. This sanctification process will go on until we are glorified in His presence. But we have a God who is not a God of chaos. He is a God of order, and He has things set up the way that He wanted them done. And if we do it His way, everything goes smooth. That it's man messes that up. And this class will give you guidance, will teach you how to not mess those things up. And if you have made mistakes in the past, you're able to go back and correct some of those mistakes, and as they say, finish well. Finish well in this life, and be the man that God intended us to be the man that puts Christ number one in his life and puts Christ number one in over his family, honors his wife, raises his children like he should, raises them up in the admonition of the Lord. But my plea would be that every man in this church needs to take this class, because it's a great class. It teaches you the godly principles of how to be a great Christian man, and that's what we need. We need strong Christian men, which will make strong families, which will make strong churches. And we talk about this nation and what a shape it's in, but for it to get the way that it should be, it starts with us. And taking a class like this is very important. I'm big on discipleship. I'm big on Christian maturity, and I believe this class is a big part of that.
What did we learn from this class? It's one of those things like, what didn't I learn from this class? The first few weeks breaks you down, tears you down, makes you realize the man you thought you was, you wasn't. I wasn't the father, the husband, or nothing that I thought I was. I've always been pretty prideful all my life. My dad, I had a great dad. He taught me how to provide for my family, how to raise my kids, how to be an upstanding citizen in the community. But he didn't teach me a whole lot about how to live a Christian life. I was saved when I was 8 years old, and when I was 11, they gave my daddy 2 years to live. I blamed the Lord and run the other direction for 36 years. He always had me in his right hand. This class showed me why he had me in his right hand and why he was waiting for me to come back. The last 9 years, don't get me wrong, I know I'm not the man I need to be. I'm not the husband, and I'm not the father that I need to be. But I'm trying. I believe every man in this church, young and old, needs to take this class, and every young Christian definitely needs to take this class, because it's something it teaches you from the ground up what you need to be doing and how you need to be doing it and how you need to be presenting yourself. It's just a great class. I really appreciate Blake and Chris for taking time out of their life to give this class. I mean, it's just, I don't know how many classes they've had so far, but I mean, that's gallbars that them men have dedicated to this class. And I just want to live my life more godlike. I know I'll never be where I want to be until the day that I die. I'll never be the Christian I want to be. I'm just trying to be a better Christian every day, and this class will definitely help you do that.
Well, first of all, I would just like to thank our church for allowing us to even get together and do this Bible study. And then I'd like to thank Blake and Chris, who just put several hours, you could tell that they put several hours of time into their study, to getting prepared to teach us. I would just encourage anyone, any man, to go and be a part of that. I do believe that it helped in a lot of aspects in my life and brought out points that, just things that I had overlooked. And even though I had been through several Bible studies, a lot of that information was brought to a new light. allowed me to see things in a different way. I do believe with all my heart that it did teach me to be a better husband, to love my wife better, to treat her better. I believe that my kids have benefited from that. Just learning to be more patient with them and try to be more of a loving father. But I would really just encourage everyone to take that, whether you are the maturest of believers or if you're a new Christian. It really makes you, it challenges you to be a more godlier man in all aspects of your life.